Welcome to today's Explainer. Okay, if you're a civics student, you're definitely going to want to tune in for this one. Real quick, just imagine you're watching a super fast-paced game, basketball, soccer, whatever it is. Both teams are playing hard, the crowd's going wild. But wait a second, there are literally no referees anywhere on the court, right? Nobody is enforcing the rules. If someone gets tripped, no whistle. The ball goes out of bounds. Both teams just start arguing over it. So what actually happens when a game has zero rules and no referees? Well, you guessed it. Total, absolute chaos. Players would just get away with whatever they wanted, the whole thing would probably turn into a massive brawl, and the score? Totally meaningless. Early on, the founders of the United States realized that a country kind of works the exact same way. Without referees, a nation just descends straight into chaos.
All right, let's dive into the source material. We've got 5 key sections today to see exactly how the U.S. set up its ultimate rulebook. We'll look at 1. Why a nation needs fair referees. 2. The Judiciary Act of 1789. 3. Climbing the court ladder. 4. Rule of law over force. And 5. How morality, education, and peace tie the whole shebang together.
Okay, kicking things off with Section 1. A nation needs fair referees, setting the rules of the game.
So, as a brand new country, America absolutely needed a way to ensure fairness from day one. I mean, having a constitution was a fantastic start, but let's be real, a piece of paper can't blow a whistle when someone commits a foul. The source material actually anchors this whole idea with an ancient quote from Isaiah 1:17, "Learn to do right, seek justice, defend the oppressed." The big takeaway here? A fair court system is absolutely essential. It's basically a society's moral obligation to build a system that seeks out justice and defends people who can't defend themselves. Because here's the thing, laws mean pretty much nothing without a dedicated court system to apply them equally to everyone. Think about it. Revolutions can replace one set of rulers with another. You kick out a king, you bring in a president, but that doesn't magically make things fair. True justice requires clear rules and fair referees. You need a rock-solid system to make sure the new boss isn't just as unfair as the old boss. Moving right along to Section 2, the Judiciary Act of 1789, building the framework. The founders knew they wanted fairness, but how did they actually build America's referee system? Well, the Constitution gave us the idea of a judiciary, but honestly, it was really just an outline. It was the Judiciary Act of 1789 that rolled up its sleeves and built the actual framework. This act laid out exactly how many courts there would be, where they'd sit, and it created a totally lawful path to resolve conflicts. It meant citizens and states finally had a designated place to settle their disputes by law rather than just using force. It made sure contracts were honored and rights were protected for real.
Next up is Section 3, Climbing the Court Ladder, the Path to Justice.
All right, so now that these courts exist, how do they actually interact? Well, the Judiciary Act didn't just scatter judges around randomly. It connected these federal courts in a very specific hierarchy. It's literally like a ladder. Down at the bottom, step 1, we have the district courts, handling local trials. Step 2 takes us up a rung to the circuit courts, which hear appeals. And way up at the top, step 3, is the Supreme Court, acting as the ultimate referee for major constitutional issues. This setup was brilliant because it allowed local cases to stay close to home while still preserving a single national voice on the really big questions.
Now, the text points out the difference between 2 super important legal terms you'll definitely want to remember: original jurisdiction and appellate jurisdiction. Original jurisdiction is exactly what it sounds like. It's the starting line. It's the court where a case originates. Appellate jurisdiction, on the other hand, is where a higher court gets to double-check the work of that lower court.
Which kind of leads me to ask you this directly. How does that appellate review actually protect citizens' rights? Why do we even need higher courts to review the decisions of lower ones? I mean, why not just let the first judge's decision be final and save everyone a bunch of time? Seriously, take a second and think about that. Well, the answer is really all about safety and trust. Appellate review corrects mistakes. If a massive error or some kind of unfairness happened in the first trial, a higher court can step in and fix it. It's a safety net. It prevents hasty or unfair rulings from just totally ruining someone's life. By making sure that the law decides the outcome, and not just a single judge having a bad day, it builds immense public trust and grows a really consistent, reliable body of law over time. And that brings us to Section 4. Rule of law over force, the power of an independent judiciary. Having an independent judiciary is pretty much the ultimate secret ingredient for keeping the peace. What the source material highlights here is the true nature of an independent judge. Judges aren't politicians. They apply the law, they don't make policy like legislators do. Because they're independent, their decisions rely strictly on evidence, not on, whatever happens to be trending or popular. This independence is exactly what protects minority rights. It guarantees that even the most powerful leaders, literally, even the president, have to answer to the law. That gives citizens some serious confidence in the system. So let me challenge you again here. Why is a structured court system better than settling disputes through protests, mobs, or outright violence? Just imagine the dangerous alternative for a second. Without these courts, how would people react when they feel cheated or wronged? Without courts, literally every disagreement could just escalate into violence. But a dependable court system uses hard evidence to provide consistent, peaceful resolutions. That kind of predictability stabilizes the whole economy. It strengthens liberty, and it puts a stop to destructive cycles of revenge. It literally replaces the fist with the gavel. All right, final section, Section 5, Morality, Education, and Peace, the Godly Learner. We've been talking a lot about historical legal concepts, but how does the source material actually connect this to your personal choices? Well, the text outlines a foundational philosophy from the Heroesmartacademy, which argues that education without biblical morality will hurt. The core point they're making is this: what is the point of being highly educated if you just continue to make choices that hurt yourself and the people around you? Just like a country needs a moral compass, the curriculum suggests you need one to guide your own education. The curriculum points directly to a promise from Romans 8:6-7, which guarantees peace of mind to everyone who keeps their mind spiritual. The text draws a really interesting parallel here. Basically, just as a fair court system brings stability to a crazy, turbulent nation, intertwining your education with this morality is intended to bring lasting peace of mind to your own life. So, as we wrap up today's explainer, I really want to leave you with a final thought to carry with you. Now that you deeply understand how the rules of this nation work and exactly why we need fair referees, how will you use both your education and your biblical morality to act as a fair referee in your own life? How will you make choices that bring peace? Keep learning, keep seeking justice, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.